Good morning, everybody. RV living with the geezer, and I'm up here in Boyd, and I just going back to the house. Just went into town, and my son reminded me about it. It's Tuesday, the 4th, and it's voting day, and I had 2 weeks to vote early, and I didn't do it. And I probably wouldn't have done it today had he not called and reminded me, because I'd forgotten all about it. But right here on this corner that I'm coming up to, and I'm going to turn right here, a while back, the school bought that property to build a new school on, and they passed a bond, a small bond on it, enough to buy it, and it passed. And then since then, the school has had another bond election for the money to actually build the school, which they need because the way this place is growing. And that one failed. So the people voted for the property. It didn't make any sense. So now they're trying to run it through again. So yeah, I voted for. I've got 2 girls. Lexi probably would be graduated by the time the new school was built. I think it's a middle school anyway, so it probably would only affect Remy. I don't think it's going to be a high school. I'm not real sure. I just know the middle school here is really overcrowded. But anyway, I got my vote in. Those machines walk you right through that now. It's sure different from the old days. But yeah, I was watching my buddy boondocking with Dennis this morning, which I always do, drinking my coffee, and he was talking about all the fires in around Rockport, and it reminded me of a story I can tell y'all. So let's just take the longer way home. Hope I'm not driving into the sun too much. I'll turn over to the right. Maybe we'll see some livestock. When I was in volunteer, I forget what year this was. It had to be after 1973. There's some goats. The volunteer department in Leon Springs. Dennis was talking this morning about Rockport having a whole lot of fires lately, and he was out there at I think it's Cape Valero, and they'd had a fire out there. But anyway, when an area is having a whole lot of fires, comes into my mind sometimes would be somebody running around setting them. So it reminded me of back at Leon Springs, we were having a whole lot of fires one period of time, grass fires, and it just it wasn't really normal. And make a long story short, back then we took just about anybody that wanted to sign up as a fireman. We were short on help, so we had the fire station was in the entrance to a mobile home park. Not travel trailers, mobile homes, and quite a few of them in there. And the fire station, they'd given us the property to build our first fire station right there. And so it was in that mobile home park, and this kid came down and joined a fire department that lived in that park. And I say kid, he might have been about 16, 17. I remember he didn't have a car, he rode a bike. And we started having after he joined, we started having all these fires. And nobody, connected anything with it for a while. And they were all grass fires. But then all of a sudden, a couple of us figured out you had to be on the fire department for a while, go through a little training before that you would get issued a radio that alerted you to when the calls came in. We called it was a plectron back then. And, you carry that thing with you everywhere you went. And then we evolved on to pagers and smaller stuff. But the kid, he didn't have a plectron. He hadn't gotten his radio yet. But every call we had, he lived really close to the fire station. He was there waiting on. He didn't even have a key to the fire station yet. He didn't. Couldn't even. He would be there waiting for the first person to show up to open it up and get the truck going and get ready to go. He wasn't missing any of these calls. So, a couple of us geniuses put 2 and 2 together and was like, how in the world does he know that we even have a call? And he's the first one there. So we had a call one day, and same thing happened. He showed up first, and so we got the little grass fire knocked out. Came back, and a couple of us guys, we had a little office there, and we called him into the office, closed the door. We had him in there, and we asked, we pinned him down and asked him, and he got real nervous, and how he didn't know that we could figure this out. He must have thought these old guys. Well, we weren't old then, we were in our late 20s back then, or early 30s, and we had about 2 or 3 of us in there, and I guess he was pretty well intimidated, and we just flat out told him that we knew what he was doing, and he finally broke down and admitted it, and they could have traced it back, to his. That was before cell phones. He was calling them in from his parents' phone in their trailer, and then just hauling butt down to the fire station, and so he wouldn't miss a fire call. But comes a garbage truck coming out. We get on by this guy. Boy, it's a pretty day. But what we did, of course, kicked him off the fire department, and we gave him a chance. We didn't call the law on him, and ruin the kid's life. He was in high school, and he just a really stupid mistake, and I guess I hope he didn't continue doing that someplace else. We might have screwed up by giving him a break, but you never know. So we let him go. But whenever I hear of a place having a lot of fires, that comes to my mind, and it's happened to me when I was at Castle Hills. We had little firebugs run, not on our fire department though, but I've read many that happens a lot. Kid'll get the firefighting urge, and it's not busy enough for him, and so he'll go out and start drumming up business by lighting fires. But anyway, that's just a little story from back then, popped into my head. So yeah, let's see if we can spot some livestock out here. There's usually some right up here. These people here, they have an auction there. Maybe they already auctioned. Oh, there's a horse. Yeah. All right, guys. I just want to tell you my little story. I went and voted, and then I went down to the new QT that opened up in Rome. And they've changed those QTs around, like your T. It's all programmed now in a machine. You just push buttons and your tea dispenses. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, that doesn't take too much to impress me anymore. And I figured out the newfangled voting machine, so be honest with you, I hadn't voted for a while. The last time I voted was probably, let's see, I was in Waring. I think Obama was running for president. This is the last time I voted. So, but this meant a lot to my son for me to vote today, so because they really want that new school, and things are really getting overcrowded up here. So this video's running too long. Be talking to you later. Have a great day. It's a pretty one up here. Adios, my friends. Bye-bye.